Hey guys, thank you so much for everything, for watching the channel and commenting and everything like that. And today there's literally so much I want to talk about, but I think something that I felt after filming the last video was that I don't want to come across preachy, the whole purpose of this channel or this series is to convey or just show the fact that I am with you. Like, I know the pain and I know what you're going through, and I don't ever want to come across like I'm preaching at you, and I felt like I didn't necessarily get those kind of comments, but I just felt like just do this or just do that. But the fact is, when you're going through a difficult time or when you're in a situation that you can't control, it's really difficult to just be like, oh, just ignore them and just think for yourself. It's hard, especially when this stuff happened when you were a child. It is really difficult to just get over it and just be different, because we are in a way trained into becoming a certain type of person through our experiences in our childhoods. So yeah, like it's good to be aware of like not becoming a certain way because of your circumstances, but it's also very important to recognize that actually you went through a really hard thing, and I am here with you guys. So like when you're asking, it's different, because if you're asking for advice, I should probably do a video just on how to tell the difference between your intuition and fear, because that's very difficult to decipher too. It's difficult for me too. Like, I sometimes, even when I know that it's my intuition saying something, I do the opposite thing. So I feel like it is hard, and it is harder than just do this or just do that. It's not such a cut and dry thing, is that the saying? So I'm definitely here with you guys, and I think I want to try to keep it that way, like, rather than mixing my own advice into it, unless I title the video that, I feel like I need to make it clearer. Like in the last video, it was mostly like my story, but then at the end I was being like, oh, but listen to yourself, listen to your intuition. And I think it's true. I think it's true that we do need to listen to our intuition, but so what? Like, the brainwashing doesn't stop because you listen to yourself. As long as you're living in that environment where you are being brainwashed by whoever, like family members or whatever, you'll still be brainwashed. And I guess the silver lining of these kinds of circumstances, whatever circumstance you're in, I feel like the silver lining, if you want to know, is that every situation, everything is going to help us grow. And again, I don't want to be preachy, but that's what it is, and I think if you are, being abused, or if you grew up in a difficult household, the one thing that you could lean on is that you can trust that, you know, you learn something from it, whether that be you not wanting to be like that when you're an adult, when you're in that position. And yeah, I think, you know, a lot of us feel like, why were we born into this family? And I think the silver lining is that we get to decide not to be like them, you know. And also you kind of know, like, now you know what it's like to be in that situation. So yeah, I think ultimately that's what we can do. And whatever situation it may be, you'll get through it. And don't give yourself like a timeline, you know, because there isn't one. How do you give yourself a timeline? You know, it's like, kind of like, I'm gonna be talking about so many random things, but like right now I'm going through this thing of like, there's a friendship that's clearly not working anymore. You know, there are toxic relationships, not necessarily romantic, but toxic relationships that people choose to be in, and there's only so much you can do to help them, you know, especially if they don't see it, if they don't see the situation from an outside perspective. That's the sad thing about like being in a friendship, or just being friends with somebody who's, it's not even necessarily about, it's the sad thing is like, you don't really see something until you're looking from the outside. When you're in the situation, you don't see that it's toxic, or you don't know the whole thing. Like, you see only a part of it. It's like, I think Jessica Kent on YouTube, she said it a long time ago, but she says something like, for example, when you're looking at this phone, right? If you're looking at it from here, you don't even know what it is you're looking at. But then when you move it away, you see the whole thing. And that's what it is with like people and friendships and relationships, platonic or otherwise. You don't see the whole thing until you're not in it anymore, you know. And it's really sad when, like today, like before I filmed this, I was crying because I felt really sad for like the loss of a friendship that I thought I had. And it's not even like either of our faults, you know, either of our faults. It's just like, I think it's like, I don't know, universe's way of saying like, you're ready to like let it go, and you're ready to move on to something else. And yeah, like it's run its course. I think that's what happens when you grow, and when you realize that like you're not living in accordance with your truth. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to title this video because it's clearly so muddled and jumbled, but yeah. Also, another thing though I realized was like, yesterday a family member of mine who I was talking to really belittled my experience being abused as a child. And then I realized, like, actually, like, that's one of the worst things you can do, is to tell them that, oh, you know, maybe you deserved it because you were being argumentative or whatever. But no child ever deserves to be hit or screamed at or shouted at, or, you know, have their food taken away because they were misbehaving, or they, I don't know, whatever. Like, it doesn't negate from the trauma. And if you're somebody who went through that and then told that it's probably, like, you deserved it probably, or it probably wasn't as a big a deal as you say it is, or whatever, like, however way people belittle it, I'm so sorry. Like, on behalf of those people, I want to say I'm so sorry, because they are so ignorant. You know, it's ignorance. And, you know, there's that saying, ignorance is bliss. Like, people who don't know what it is, they can say whatever because they haven't been through it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you're the one that's gonna have to heal yourself ultimately. Nobody's ever gonna understand what it's like to go through trauma, because, like, unless they've been through it. And that's the silver lining. Like, when you feel like, why me? I think the silver lining, the thing that you could hang on to, is that, like me, you can do something with it. Like, with me, I think of it like, because I went through so much trauma as a child, and then was raped and then, you know, lost my child. Now I know what it's like to go through those things, and I can empathize. I'm not gonna ever say to anybody, you know, your trauma probably wasn't a big deal. Like, people who say that, they really don't know anything, and you really cannot. You have to distance yourself from those kinds of comments, or just realize, like, they don't know what they're talking about, because they really don't, you know. And it's so sad, but true. And hopefully I can be that voice of people who go through these kinds of things, because there needs to be a voice, and there needs to be this, like, reassurance that, like, you're not the only one who went through it. I don't really want to talk about my own trauma unless you guys request it, because the whole thing is, like, I want to help you guys. I don't ever talk about it just to talk about it, just to be like, poor me, because I think I'm way past that stage now. Even though, again, I wouldn't ever blame anybody for wanting to talk about their trauma. Like, I want to be the one that, like, listens to you guys too. So I don't know, if you want to talk about it, then, and if you feel comfortable with it, you can just put it in the comments of this video if you want to, and we can talk about it, we can share it. Or if you don't want to talk about it, and if you just want to watch these videos or whatever, like, you don't have to participate in commenting or anything like that. Like, I totally understand. Like, it's a really difficult thing to go through, and I only talk about my things in order to make sure that you guys feel understood, because, like, we all want to be understood, right, ultimately. And I think yesterday's experience of my family member belittling my experience of being abused, like, it just showed me how much we need this, how much we need to come together, really, and I don't know, create a world more centered around compassion, because there needs to be way more compassion than there is in the world right now. I think, basically, guys, I came to Japan in 2017, and I had been wondering, like, what it was that really, like, called me. Like, I mean, for me, I really had nothing going on in England, and that's why I moved to Japan in 2017. But I think there was a bigger goal. Like I think especially Japan, the abuse laws, like the laws on like kids being abused by their parents, that it really doesn't exist. It's really not that strict, and even teachers are very, you know, shouty towards their students at school, and they don't really get in trouble either for like even hitting them, you know. So I'm not a lawyer, and I can't say for definite that, you know, there's like nothing there to protect kids, but I know that it's nowhere near as strict as it needs to be. And I think a lot of people turn a blind eye on those kinds of situations, you know, especially like parents disciplining their children. It's not really common for other people to like put their 2 cents into that, you know. Like, even think about the basic stuff. Like, children in Japan go to school on their own. They don't even get dropped off by their parents from, you know, their first grade at school. So things are just totally different. And I feel like me coming to Japan was like, I think it was because like Japan needs me. Maybe. Like, I don't wanna like big myself up, because it's not about me, but I just feel like there are just so many things in Japan that I just look at and I'm just like, why does this happen? Like, you know, I don't know. I hope something comes of this video, but I'll just be editing it, and maybe something will come of it. But ultimately, what I'm trying to do here is to be somebody who like understands, you know, understands the pain, because we need more understanding, we need more compassion. And then it also means that what I went through wasn't for nothing, you know. I think there's like a purpose behind what I'm doing, and I'm getting the confirmation itch. Gosh, you guys might know what it is if you watched one of my previous videos where I talked about that. But yeah, I think ultimately we are all on this planet for some kind of purpose, and I think one of mine is to show you guys that somebody cares. Because you know what? There was a time in my life when I didn't think anyone cared. There was a time in my life when I thought like that, you know, I was better off not existing anymore. And if you are in that place, then I'm so sorry for whatever you went through to have to feel like that. But you can get through it too. There is a reason behind it. There is something, there is a path to it. Whatever it is you're going through, please know that you're not alone, and I'm right there with you. And I think that's what it is. I think we need this community. I think that's the ultimate goal in life, is to make sure that you don't feel alone, because I think that's the loneliest place to be, is to feel alone. We all go through stuff, and not to say that warrants any of the experiences you're having. I think everything is supposed to lead to something. And yeah, even friendships ending is supposed to lead to something. This video is extremely rambly, and I don't know what's gonna come of it, but hopefully something great. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I love you so much, and please have a great day or night. Take care, you guys.